your news in your community. This is KRBC, Abilene's local news at 5.
Okay, you said the baby is
completely out.
Okay,
Yes, just came out.
Okay, I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line. I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
That is audio of an Abilene police dispatcher calmly walking a family through a surprise home birth on New Year's Eve. Good afternoon. I'm Kathleen Barkley. Thanks for joining us for First at 5. David is away this afternoon. In our top story, Shelby Chalin was working her typical overnight shift when she received a call from a soon-to-be father saying his wife was in labor and there was no time to make it to the hospital. The baby is born less than 3 minutes into the call, but there's still more to do before paramedics arrive. The father-in-law came to the phone to get Chalin's instructions, including swaddling the baby and watching him for 3 minutes before tying a shoelace around the umbilical cord. After 7 minutes, paramedics arrived and brought them to the hospital.
We were not ready to have my secret dream of a home birth come true, but it did.
Yeah, it did.
And you survived.
I did.
And we are happy to report Mom, Dad, and baby are all happy and healthy, and we are excited to welcome Rory to the world. And it's time for our first check of the forecast. The sun has finally made a return to the big country. Warm weather all around and overall an absolutely gorgeous day. Dylan, can we expect this beautiful weather to stay into the weekend?
Yes, and this morning was a little bit icy actually, especially the access roads and the shade, but that did melt off pretty quick. Even I slipped a little bit, but we are looking at a beautiful day, a beautiful evening, and beautiful next few days. That's kind of the name of the game as we move into the weekend. Clear skies and almost nothing but sunshine today. As we take another look outside, we topped out in the mid-60s this afternoon. Temperatures tonight will get a little bit chilly again as we head into the overnight hours. Temperatures dropping down to just above freezing heading into tomorrow morning. So if you're heading out this evening for any kind of plans, grab a light jacket. You'll definitely want it as we move into the evening hours. Tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, going to start a little bit on the chilly side, but getting back up to the mid-60s. Beautiful, well above seasonal, and very sunny. Kathleen?
All right, thanks, Dylan. Going now to your crime news. An Abilene man accused of sneaking into a nonprofit's property to have sex with a teenager has been sentenced. Corbin Mills is accused of sneaking onto the Ben Ritchie Boys Ranch and having sex with a 14-year-old girl multiple times. Mills was 18 at the time of the incident and was charged with sexual assault of a child. He's now sentenced to 10 years probation and will have to register as a sex offender. Ben Ritchie staff became suspicious of someone sneaking in and caught Mills on camera. Court documents state Mills confessed to cutting the screen to the teen's bedroom. Ben Ritchie Boys Ranch President Carrie Fortune said extra precautions have been taken, keeping all of their children safe, and the campus remains a safe place. In another ongoing investigation, Abilene police are seeking information on this truck. Take a look and see if you recognize it. Police say it's a white or light-colored extended cab. Police did not disclose why they're seeking information on the vehicle. If you have any information, contact Abilene Crime Stoppers at 325-676-8477. Information will remain anonymous and you could receive a cash reward. The Abilene Police Department reporting results today for the Holiday STEP program. APD participating in the program with the Texas Department of Transportation. It enables Abilene Police to look specifically for impaired drivers during the holidays. APD made 61 contacts, 17 citations, and 1 arrest. A total of 28 grant hours were worked to get drunk drivers off the streets. And a couple of scam alerts for you this afternoon from across the big country. First, we go to Merkel, where police are warning of a phone scam targeting citizens for cash. Police say scammers have been calling with an 800 number claiming to be with WTU Energy. Callers tell police they were threatened to pay immediately via money packs or their electricity would be turned off. WTU Energy, responding to the scam call, says this is not a valid way to pay and do not submit payment unless it's through one of their direct payment methods. And if you're an early, be on the lookout for unpermitted salesmen. Police say these individuals are aggressive and go door to door selling cleaning products. Police say they've told the solicitors to stop or they will receive citations. Anyone who encounters a strange person on their property who won't leave, you're asked to contact the police at 325-646-5320. 822. And Abilene Mayor Anthony Williams held another one of his community conversations this morning. This time was a bit different, taking place in a smaller space at Mad Coffee and More in South Abilene. The crowd may have been smaller, but people still had plenty of questions. No surprise to see many citizens asking about the streets as the new street and maintenance fee takes effect this month. Another talking point that's been around lately, the recent opening at the animal shelter.
I was very angry at the situation with the past with the animal shelter. Today, after talking to him, Mayor Williams is passionate about Abilene. He has a heart about Abilene. I have a different opinion about him.
It's never easy to stand in front of people and take any and every question, but I think it's the right thing to do. People have a right to know. People have a right for the mayor to be available and accessible and to hold city government accountable.
And more city updates come next month in the Mayor's State of the City address. Well, after two pillars of the Anson community passed away, their memory is now living on in your community. Sylvia Moreland and Pat Ceballos were known throughout Anson, and now a park is being built in their honor. The project is led by the city manager, and the community has come out in full force to help make it happen. Using their favorite colors, purple and yellow, this is an area where the community can spend time with these women who made Anson a better place to live.
Now we have a place for people to come. I've seen people here relating back to the ladies that it's dedicated to, basically spending time with them.
I know watching her husband when he comes up here just to look around, I know he thinks about her all the time, but you know, it just makes her remember. It makes him remember.
And there's still work to be done at the park. The Anson High School art class will paint murals on the walls, and the city will help plant some flowers. And an update to a story we first told you about last month, the Abilene pastor in need of a kidney transplant now getting closer to his monetary goal. The longtime pastor of New Light Baptist Church, Eddie Jordan, is in need of a kidney. While insurance does cover the kidney transplant itself, Pastor Jordan's family set a goal of $80,000 for out-of-pocket costs like anti-rejection and antiviral drugs and out-of-town travel. So far, $7,000 has been raised, and if you want to donate, just go to live.org and search for Eddie Jordan. Coming up on First at 5, it's not just your kids you need to worry about when you eat. We'll explain why food allergies are becoming more common in adults.
And this weekend is looking absolutely gorgeous, well above seasonal, feeling a little bit more like spring than winter. I'll look at that forecast coming up next.
This is KRBC, Abilene's local news at 5, with Kathleen Barkley, David Bacon, and Chief Meteorologist Dylan Smith. Now, your KRBC Storm Team. Now, your KRBC Storm Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Dylan Smith.
Today was already a huge improvement over the past couple of days with even nicer days ahead, at least for tomorrow. Sunday will be a little bit on the windier side, but aside from that, no more freezing temperatures for a while, getting much warmer for the weekend, even more so than today. A lot of us topped out in the lower 60s this afternoon. We do have another cold front coming through early next week. That will keep things a little bit closer to seasonal for a lot of us, maybe by middle of next week. And then behind all of that, again, rain chances heading our way late next week, about Thursday, Friday, looking a little bit on the likelier side of things. But right now, clear skies, that low pressure that brought us all that ice and snow, now well off to the east as we are looking at high pressure starting to dominate the area for at least the weekend. By next week, we see a weak, very weak low pressure system. And aside from that, 3D Live radar, quiet so far today, has been all day, and really not expecting anything different for the weekend at least. But the upper level patterns heading into the weekend, that high pressure ridge right there off to us, that'll move east over us for Saturday and Sunday. Heading into next week though, Sunday into Monday, we'll have a very, very weak low pressure system. You almost don't even notice it, but a very weak trough at least heading our way. That will drag a cold front with it Sunday night into Monday. That's going to help us cool off a little bit back more to what we're supposed to feel like right now. That'll be Sunday into Monday. Heading into Monday and Tuesday, maybe still pretty warm. Definitely not a strong cold front. Don't get me wrong. Only about 5 or 10 degrees. Then we have a very weak low pressure system heading our way after that. But the temperature outlook heading into the next 8 to 14 days, looking to be a little bit on the warmer side for a lot of us, as we're already seeing that. And again, that's for 8 to 14 days out. The near future already pretty warm, and that will be our extended kind of forecast. So definitely not hot and definitely not cold, but a little bit warmer than seasonal, essentially like what we saw today for the near future. Temperatures for the weekend, mid to upper 60s, even lower 70s by Sunday. That's going to be a very warm day. Also a little bit on the cloudier side and windy. We'll be seeing about 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts. That cold front comes through Sunday into Monday. Will cool us off a little bit. Again, just a couple of degrees each day, but that all adds up eventually. So we'll be back closer to seasonal by middle parts of next week, but beautiful forecast for the next several days. Tomorrow morning starting out in the mid 30s, by lunchtime already back close to 60, which is generally above our afternoon high for a lot of us. Then by the afternoon, we'll be seeing those mid 60s for most of us. So a beautiful Saturday to kick off the first weekend of the new year. As we do head into the weekend though, winds will pick up by Sunday. We're looking at about 10 to 20 mile an hour winds out there tomorrow as well. 5 to 15 mile an hour winds right now, generally out of the west. Pretty calm out there, has been all day, and will continue to be for tomorrow. Clear skies tonight, as we'll be in the mid 30s. Close to freezing, but not quite. We could see a few areas get down to that freezing mark, but not going to be as widespread freezing, at least as what we saw this morning. Sunny skies for tomorrow as well. Much warmer as well, mid 60s. A beautiful day heading our way for tomorrow. Generally, the entire forecast looking very nice. Only a light rain chance heading into next Thursday. This weekend, temperatures nice and warm, mid 60s, lower 70s actually at times, and a little bit breezy on Sunday, but nothing crazy. 10 to 20 mile an hour winds gusting around 30 at times.
That is a forecast that I can get behind for sure.
In January, I completely agree.
That gets the Kathleen Barkley KRBC stamp of approval for sure.
It gets my approval too.
Yes, I love it. And you know what? I feel like I can put some of my sweaters away for at least the week. And
be
just,
careful.
Yeah, I know. I'm speaking
away.
Too soon, but you know what? I don't have to worry about them next week. That's going to be great.
Don't.
All right, thanks, Dylan. Well, it's not just you need to worry about when it comes to what you eat. A new study indicates how prevalent food allergies in adults really is. Kim Hutcherson has more in today's Health Minute.
More than 1 out of every 10 Americans suffers from food allergies. That's according to a new study published in the online medical journal JAMA. Researchers surveyed more than 40,000 adults in the U.S. on the prevalence of food allergies. The 3 most common types: number 1, shellfish; number 2, milk; number 3, peanuts. Half of those that reported having an allergy described their particular food allergy as being severe. About 40% had to make a trip to the emergency room as a result. Around half of the participants said they didn't develop their allergy until they were adults. It's important to note that all of the results were self-reported, not verified by the researchers. While nearly 20% reported experiencing symptoms of a food allergy, researchers found half of those were caused by other conditions. If you're one of those out there that suspects they could be suffering from a food allergy, researchers encourage you to seek out a medical professional to get tested. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Up next on your local news, did you fall victim to a data breach in 2018? We'll show you how to protect your data this year. That and more news coming up after the break.
You're watching KRBC, Abilene.
I love it. It's dropped my electric bill from probably $300 or $400 a month to, well, my last bill was $52.
Experts say the hope is that if
You're watching KRBC, Abilene's local news.
Well, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. As more solar panels become a more viable option for homes and businesses, some people are really enjoying the benefits of this energy option. Leah Doherty explains in your Texas report.
I love it. It's dropped my electric bill from probably $300 or $400 a month to, well, my last bill was $52.
Experts say the hope is that if your home produces enough energy with the panels, you can bring that electricity bill down to zero.
It, combined with my electric bill with LP&L, will still be less than what I was paying to begin with.
While these panels are expensive up front, they have potential to pay off big.
It'll take a couple of years to recoup the total investment, but the unit's there. It'll continue to generate electricity as long as they're able to see the sun and generate electricity on its own.
LP&L works with customers and installs what's called a net metering system to monitor the energy you are producing and using.
Now LP&L, what they do is they give you credit for the energy that's generated as long as it's not over the amount you consume. Okay, so it's 1 for 1 but monthly. It doesn't roll over to the next, like roll over minutes or anything of that nature. It's strictly that month. So if you consume 800, produce 800, it's a wash. All you pay is a meter fee through LP&L.
At the end of the day, Chris says switching to solar is all about being more energy efficient and reducing our carbon footprint. And their mission at AMP is to help Lubbock step into the future.
We want to be honest with people. We're a local company, and that's important to us. So we're here to educate our customers and really show them how this process works.
Now, when local law enforcement believes alcohol may be a factor in a serious crash, officers can call a hotline to get state alcohol investigators involved in the case early on, while evidence and witnesses' memory is still fresh. That new task force, called TRACE, is comprised of the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, game wardens, and members of the Police Chiefs and Sheriff's Association. The TRACE program's involvement in the Houston area put 5 bar employees behind bars last month for serving alcohol to a minor in a deadly drinking accident and driving case, but the TABC says less than a dozen agencies in the state have signed on to participate.
As we continue to roll out the program statewide, we're meeting with more law enforcement agencies. We're producing more training materials to get them up to speed on what TRACE actually is and how it can help. We expect to see a greater volume of calls as we move ahead.
TABC leaders say they are concentrating on implementing TRACE in metro areas first, where they expect more cases, and will continue to expand into rural areas as well. Well, billions of customers were affected by breaches and cyber attacks in 2018, resulting in millions of dollars in losses. Experts say now more than ever, it's important to make a digital security check-in. It's an annual habit. Liz McLaughlin reports.
As data breaches become more commonplace, many consumers tend to accept or ignore them.
Breaches have become the third certainty in life behind death and taxes.
But don't let security fatigue keep you from taking steps to prevent an attack. Start by updating software on mobile devices and computers, which often include security patches. Use long and strong passwords and change them often. According to Digital Guardian, almost half of adults still reuse passwords across multiple sites.
Can't do that. So, because people can't remember, get a password manager.
Tighten security settings on accounts and apps. Often the default settings aren't the most secure. And avoid oversharing online.
It's too easy to get answers to security questions by simply going on social media sites and reading up on anybody that could be a potential target.
Make sure all data is backed up in a secure place such as a hard drive. And take advantage of free credit freezes and reports.
Go to freecreditreport.com and download your credit report and check and make sure that none of your accounts have been compromised.
It's impossible to completely protect your data, but don't expect someone else to do it for you.
What's so important about 2019 is for consumers to understand that we have a shared responsibility, government, business, and consumers.
Do your part to minimize the damage before the next breach. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
And another good reminder, be suspicious of emails. According to McAfee, 71% of malware attacks happen when consumers click on a malicious link or attachment. Coming up on your local news, we'll have a look at your top headlines and another check of your forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching KRBC, Abilene. You're watching KRBC, Abilene's local news.
Well, thanks for staying with us. If you're just now joining us, here's a look at what you've missed so far. New audio released by the Abilene Police Department highlights how a calm dispatcher can make a difference. Shelby Chalin was working her typical overnight shift on New Year's Eve when she received a call from a soon-to-be father saying his wife was in labor and there was no time to make it to the hospital. The baby's born less than 3 minutes into the call, but there's still more to do before paramedics arrive. The father-in-law came to the phone to get Chalin's instructions, including swaddling the baby and watch him for 3 minutes before tying a shoelace around the umbilical cord. After 7 minutes, paramedics finally arrived and brought them to the hospital. And of course, we're happy to report mom, dad, and baby are all happy and healthy, and we are excited to help welcome Rory to the world. You can catch that full story tonight on KRBC News at 10. Abilene Mayor Anthony Williams held another one of his community conversations this morning. This time was a bit different, taking place in a smaller space at Mad Coffee and More in South Abilene. Now, the crowd may have been smaller, but people still had questions. No surprise to see many citizens asking about the streets as the new street maintenance fee takes effect this month. Another talking point that's been around town lately, the recent opening at the animal shelter.
I was very angry at the situation with the past with the animal shelter. Today, after talking to him, Mayor Williams is passionate about Abilene. He has a heart about Abilene. I have a different opinion about him.
It's never easy to stand in front of people and take any and every question, but I think it's the right thing to do. People have a right to know. People have a right for the mayor to be available and accessible and to hold city government accountable.
More city updates come next month in the mayor's State of the City address. And the Abilene Police Department reporting results today for the Holiday STEP program. APD participating in the program with the Texas Department of Transportation. It enables Abilene Police to look specifically for impaired drivers during the holidays. APD made 61 contacts, 17 citations, and made 1 arrest. A total of 28 grant hours were worked to get drunk drivers off the streets. Up next on KRBC News at 5, Dylan has another check of your forecast. Stay with us.
It's Friday afternoon, 5:30 is almost here. A lot of people getting off of work, and I have to say, this is one of the nicest weekends we've had in quite some time. Mid to upper 60s, lower 70s. A little bit windy on Sundays, you heading off to church, but other than that, absolutely perfect forecast. Maybe getting down closer to season by middle next week, but very, very, very nice. Plenty of sunshine for the next couple of days.
That's what I like to hear, especially after all that ice and dreary weather the past couple of days. That is nice to see that sun today.
Definitely.
All right, well, that does it for your local news. First at 5, NBC Nightly News is coming up next.
We'll see you back here at 6. Thanks for trusting KRBC.